Alright. Hey everybody, this is Neil. Back at it again. In the break, I was actually looking, and we have some things here. Pre-event, that's right. Let's go ahead and actually change this to event. And let's change this to post-event. Just so then that way it matches up everything that we already have. Sweet. Save that. Alright, now let's get some blocks in here. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do blocks.init. Like so. Except we're not going to call it blocks. We're going to call it blocks.ng. Because blocks is... We can use blocks because it's going to show up under a package that's specific to our mod. That's not a problem. But I don't want to mix up the blocks that we're using from vanilla Minecraft with the blocks that we're creating in our mod. So I'm just going to put NG on there for Neil Gaming. Now, if your mod is called Taco Craft, why don't you go ahead and make it blocks TC, right? So that way it's unique to your mod. I noticed that a lot of folks, when we were going through, you were trying to create your own mod, but you were using some of my naming conventions. Not that that's a bad thing, because it's not. It's totally not. But I know that a lot of you are aiming for consistency, so then that way your mod is your mod and it's unique and everything like that. So you can go ahead and actually name this whatever you want. I'm choosing blocks.ng for Blocks Neil Gaming. We're going to create a class, and I'm going to put it under a new package called blocks. Blocks. Not like that. Let's try that again. And let's go to the end here, and we will try blocks. There we go. Blocks.ng. Mucho gusto. Does that mean nice to meet you? I don't know what that means. So in here, we are going to create a new method. We're going to call this public static void init. And we're going to start with another method that we're going to reference called register blocks. Now let's just get that out of the way right now. We will do public static void register blocks. Like so. Alright, so blocks. What blocks are we going to put in here? Well, we're going to start out with block ors, and this is going to be equal to new block ors. This is the class that we're going to create for it, and we're going to have set block name block ors, and we actually need to put this in quotes, so let's do this right now. Now you'll notice that it's giving me a couple of errors here. It's saying, hey, there's no local variable created for that. What's going on? What we're going to do is we're actually going to be declaring all of our variables in a second file. This right here, of course, there's no class available. So let's do this now. Let's come in here and we're going to create a new class, and we're going to say blocks. Let's do actually block declaration ng, like so. And then in here we can do public static block, and then we will say block ors, like so. We will import the block class, make sure that it's Minecraft and not Jorbis. We'll save that, and then up here in our imports we are going to say import static net dot neilgaming dot blocks, and if we hit backspace and then dot again, we'll see block ng, and then we can hit a little asterisk like so, and it will make sure that we are referencing all of those variables. Let's go ahead and create our block class right now. Alright, block ors. Now, this is going to be a block, so we're just going to extend our block class. We'll import that, hit finish. It's going to need a constructor, and we'll actually take out this material because we know that these are ores. Their material is going to be the same, so we don't actually need to indicate a different material each time right here. So we will just type material.rock. We'll take out that automatic to do. We'll save that, and it should actually take care of our errors. Yay! 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 Let's tune up this block ores file because we have quite a bit of stuff that we want to do in here, and I actually want to do block metadata on these. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here. These are going to be our ores. We're going to say at side only, and this is going to be side.client, and we're going to say private icon, and this will be an array, and we're going to call this texture, like so. And we'll say final static string, and we're going to call this subblocks is going to be equal to a new string and what are we going to have in here? We are going to have copper, we are going to have tin, we are going to have nickel, and we are going to have vanadium. And you'll probably recognize some of these as what I used last time. We're missing a little right there. Alright, so let's in here in our constructor we're going to say this dot set hardness is going to be a 3.0. Whoa. It's going to be a 3.0 float. We're going to say this dot set resistance, and this is the blast resistance, is going to be 5.0 float. And then we're also going to set the creative tab. This dot set creative tab is going to be main dot, and we're going to put this under materials, like so. Let's get our texture set up. So, side only, side.client, and this is going to be public void register block icons, and make sure that, like, if we're doing items and not blocks, we'll just have register icons. When we're dealing with blocks, we have to put register block icons, and make sure that it's icons and not just icon. So we will do icon register, and we're just going to do like we usually do, and we will call this icon register. This is a more or less a variable. This is how we're referencing the properties of the icon register class. And we are going to say texture is going to be equal to a new array from icon, iicon, and it is going to be equal to subblocks dot length, like so. We're going to do a for loop, and we're going to say int I equals 0, and then I is going to be less than subblocks dot length, and then we're going to increment that I plus plus, and we're going to say texture of I is going to be equal to icon register dot register icon, and this will be main.modID plus our colon plus subblocks I plus or. And I'll explain kind of what this is accomplishing here in just a second. Cool. It's giving us some grief. We needed to do some imports, that's right, because we didn't have our side only. So really what we're saying is, okay, so we're loading up texture, right? We're loading up this array with every possible OR that we've created, which is going to be these four right here. And really what we're saying is that texture of I, which will start out at 0, is going to be equal to Neil Gaming, colon, subblocks of I, which is going to be 0, it's going to be the first one, copper, OR. So Neil Gaming, colon, copper OR. Next one will be Neil Gaming tin OR. Neil Gaming nickel OR, Neil Gaming vanadium OR. So that's how we essentially are setting the texture. Now what we need to do is we need to get these subblocks that we're going to have. We're going to say public void get subblocks, and this is largely because we are dealing with metadata. I know this is item, but we're going to name it block, and we're going to put in creative tabs, and we'll call that creative tabs, and we're going to call it list. And what we'll do is another for loop for int I equals 0 as long as I is less than subblocks dot length. Let's move this out right there, and then we're going to increment that I++, and we're going to add to our list. We're going to say list.add a new item stack, and it is going to be block block 1 I, and we'll close that up like so, and some more imports to do. So Control-Shift-O, we'll choose item. We're going to choose util list for Java, not AWT. Boom, like so. So what we're doing is we're adding each of these subblocks to a list. And really what we're saying is the first thing that is in the list is going to be our block, right? Which will be this. And it will be followed by 1 and then 0, and then 1 and 1, 1 and 2, 1 and 3. So remember, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, like so. Now let's actually return this texture. So side only is going to be equal to side.client. We're going to have public icon, and we're going to call this get icon, and we're going to say inside inside int meta, and we are going to return texture meta, like so, just like so. And one last thing, public int damage dropped int meta, and we are going to return meta, like so. So this is our block ORs class. We've got this all set up. We've said what ORs are going to be in here. We've set the way that we are going to go and reference and find our textures for each of these. We've added them to our subblocks list. Now what we need to do is we need to create our item blocks file. So let's go ahead and do that now. And to do that, we're going to need to create another package. So we're going to come here and we're going to do new package, And rather than blocks, we're just going to move over here and we're going to type item. So that way we have item blocks. And in here, we will have a class, and we're going to call this item block ors, like so. This is going to extend our item block class. Do Control-Shift-O. We're going to add our constructor, and this will just be block and block. Let's change this to block as well. And we're going to say that this .set has subtypes, and this is going to be true because this does have subtypes because it's block metadata. That's kind of the whole point, right? That's what we're trying to accomplish here. Public string get unlocalized name. It's going to be from an item stack, and we're going to call this item stack, like so. And we're going to say int I is going to equal item stack dot get item damage, and we're going to say if I is less than 0 or I is greater than or equal to sub blocks dot length, and we still have some work that we need to do on that. To get that cleaned up, we are going to say I equals 0. I said that we had some work that we needed to do there, and we do. We got to come up here and we got to say final static string, like so, and we are going to say subblocks equals new string and we're going to say copper, tin, just like we did on our block ors file, tin, nickel, and you know, I did vanadium, but let's actually do zinc. Let's do zinc. And let's actually close that up with a curly brace. New string, why doesn't it like it? Because it needs to be an array. That's why it doesn't like it. So we did that. Let's come back down here and we need to do a return type. So we're going to return super.get unlocalized name, and it will be plus dot, I need to have it like so, dot plus subblocks of I plus or. There we go. There we go. And one last method, and that is going to be public int get metadata, one word, and this is going to be int meta, and we are going to return meta, like so. And that takes care of our item block ors file. So let's go back to our blocks.ng. Let's get this registered. We have game registry. Now, because we're dealing with block metadata, I'm going to initialize this manually. So we're going to say register block, and our block is going to be block ors. Ors, and our item class is going to be item block ors dot class, and then our name will be we'll just do block ors, like so, like so. Let's get this imported, like so, and I think we are good to jump in and see these. Textures aren't going to appear yet, but we should have all of our blocks appearing in there. And we'll still need to go in and label their names in our link file, which I promise I'm going to be a lot better about doing this time around than I was last time around. So, nothing in here. We have our 4 blocks in here. So we'll make note of these. Tile.blockors.copperore.name. So we are going to say tile.blockors.copperore.name is going to be equal to copper ore. And we're just going to copy and paste this. Oh, one thing I need to actually go back and do is change that to zinc, because I did that in my AutoBlocks file, but I never did over here. And we are going to say that this will be tin, that this will be nickel, and that this will be zinc. And then we will say tin, nickel, and zinc. Alright, so that's done. Let's actually go ahead and close this. Let's get our textures in there right now. And we already have one assets file in here, so let's just go ahead and do new and package. And we're going to change this to textures, and then we're going to have blocks, like so. Now, I already have some of these already created, so I will just copy and paste those in right now. They should be in here. We've got tin and we've got copper. So let me dig over here and grab those up real fast. Did I put it in here? Modcraft source, main resources. Nope, I didn't do that. Not in there. So we will go to testcraft. This is where I had all of my old stuff at. So we have copper, we have nickel, we have not sulfur, we have tin, and we have zinc. So let's copy those, and we can actually just come right in and we can right click and we can paste those in like so. Let's hit run and see what we've got. Hopefully we have all of our names in there. Hopefully all of our textures show up, and it will look pretty sweet. Nothing under there. We've got textures. We've got our names. Everything's looking good. Let's place some of these down. Yeah, not too shabby. Sweet. All right. Well, I think that will actually do it for this episode. I'm going to come back and we're going to do items next. So I will see you then.